I would like to talk about why we should strive to not be too nice. Kindness is an immense strength. At least that's what we've always been told, that this is a reflection of you, and what you put out will come back. To a degree, yes, this is true. Kindness is important, and we should always strive to be kind, to a point. Kindness is expecting the best out of people, and it should be our go-to, because we should treat others the way that we would like to be treated. This is something that's elementary. This is something that I'm sure many of our childhoods revolved around. But what happens when you expect the best out of somebody and they show you something opposite of what you expected? Maybe they show you that they want to take advantage of you, or they want to treat you poorly, or they want to be disrespectful towards you. Should you still be kind? When I was a teenager, I used to think that, yeah, you should still be kind because it's a reflection of you. And you should, like I said, put out what you want and it'll come back to you. I still believe that this is true, but I've come to honor some of my more negative aspects, meaning that the kindness that you give to others is the kindness that you should also be giving to yourself. And in saying that, you should know how to say no and how to disengage when it comes to disrespectful people or people who are maybe not so kind to you. The whole kill them with kindness isn't something that really works for me anymore. We have to learn to stand our ground. And this is not only helpful for us, but this may be helpful for the receiving party as well. Because anything that you do in this world, there's going to be an opposite reaction to. And if you are giving somebody your kindness, which is a great gift, it's a tremendous strength, but sometimes people, I don't want to say don't deserve it, but they need to be aware that there's consequences to their actions. I think that the kindest thing you can do in those circumstances is to not be so kind. I'm not going to say that you should be rude, because I don't personally believe that there's really much of a place for being rude, but that's just my own personal belief. But what does work for me is learning to disengage and pull back and not provide any sort of emotion or any sort of engagement whatsoever. I will not smile. I will not be nice. I will not plaster a smile on my face at my own detriment. I think that sometimes when we do that, you're teaching other people that it's okay to treat people like that, or that it's okay to treat you like that. Back in my teen years, I thought that in my kindness, maybe certain things were like a one-time thing. In my teen years, when I was getting kind of walked on or used or taken advantage of, I used to think that, you know, like I'll help this person out this once, it'll be a one-time thing. And it never really was. And I think that we are the ones who teach other people how to treat us based on how we treat ourselves, what we tolerate and what we choose not to tolerate. And I wish that I would have known that when I was younger, that it's okay to speak up or to not engage with people like that, or to back away, choose something entirely different. So this book is about karma, and about real karma. And you might be asking, what's the difference between the traditional karma that we have been taught our whole lives? When somebody does something bad, it'll come back to them. When somebody does something good, it'll come back to them. In this book, it was really interesting. This book has changed my perspective on the idea of kindness, because when encountering a situation that is difficult, it's how we react to the situation that kind of shapes our karma. So this book goes into the things that we engage in and the things that we kind of start up on with our own energy and our own attention. It kind of cultivates this thing called karma, and there's karma based off of any engagement in any aspect of your life. And basically, the whole point that I'm trying to get to here about kindness, and where I got this idea from, it's not helping the people who are treating you poorly to be kind. And it's something that I kind of wish wasn't so part of our pop culture, or I wish it wasn't such a common thing, because we've always been taught that. Me and everyone I know has been taught the importance of kindness, and it is important, but there's also a time and a place to not be so kind. Kindness is extremely integral and important for all relationships, for being vulnerable in our lives, and for building our relationships and maintaining our relationships and trusting. It's just a matter of knowing when to trust and when to choose not to. I guess like a big thing is noticing red flags and knowing that you should always have boundaries around certain areas of your life to protect yourself. And of course, there may be a little bit of fear surrounding why you may choose not to say anything or do anything. There may be fear surrounding you speaking up or saying no or declaring your boundaries. Essentially, the fear may be that if you aren't nice, what will be the backlash? However, we can't live our lives worried about the backlash. And you may actually be attracting this into your life by allowing it. You may be attracting specific people, specific circumstances. If you don't learn how to use boundaries effectively, then you may continue to experience the same consequences in your life. You may attract the same types of people and the same types of experiences into your life. If you don't learn the lesson, then you may end up reliving the karmic lesson over and over again until you do learn it. We have to learn how to use boundaries effectively. The thing with this too is that you have a choice to either learn how to use boundaries or to allow people to continuously use or demean you. There's consequences to speaking up, sure, but there's also consequences to not speaking up. There's consequences to not learning how to use your boundaries. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that we should always be kind? Or do you think that there's a point in which we should put up a wall and stop certain behavior? Or do you think that there's a time and place where we should also fight back? So in closing, I will say, be nice and be kind, be a good person, but don't waste any time trying to prove it. That's definitely not my quote. That is somebody else's quote, and I'm not sure who said that, but it is very insightful.